So, this is the first word here.
Hi.
Hi. Who has it?
Howdy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Gloria, what do you have?
I have Chai.
You're close. But it's a KH sound because it's a kaf. Okay? So I know a lot of times in our transliteration we read it, they write it like that, but with our English we want to say what? Like cheer.
Oh.
Right? Okay? So actually it's a KH sound. That will help clear up the... So we have what? Give me the letters. Het. Okay? So that's the KH. And then the Yud, this connects, and that makes an IE sound. So it would be kind of like IE. So you have Chai. So what is Chai?
Life.
Life. L'chaim. Okay? When we say the Kiddush and we lift our cup, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei harich hagafim, v'yirud, we all say L'chaim. And L'chaim? So what? To life. The L, the prefix le is to life. But notice something about chai versus chayim.
It's plural.
It's plural. So what are we saying? To literally, you're saying what?
Lives.
2 lives. Why? Well, you have more than one. You have an inside life, you have an outside life, you have an upside life, and you have a downside life. You have more than one life.
Eternal life.
Huh?
Eternal life.
Eternal life. You have a physical life. You have eternal life. You have what we call the nefesh, the kamah, the animal instinct, the flesh, the body that's connected to the earth. And you have the nefesh shemayim, the soul that is given to you from heaven. Your heavenly connection, your God connection. Okay? This one dies and returns to the dust. The nefesh bekamah dies and returns to the earth. The nefesh shemayim returns to heaven. When this one dies, the other one returns back to God. Okay? So you have those lives. That's why I said you have the upside life and the downside life. Okay? The inside life, the outside life. So you have these different aspects of life. So that's why we call it chayim, l'chaim.
Now how do I know it's KH instead of C there?
How do you know it's KH? This is spelled, it's a chet. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. When you see it in the transliteration, a lot of times they will spell it like this. But you have to remember that you're speaking Hebrew, not English.
So we don't want to say chai.
So you don't want to say chai. Chai is a...
Chai tea.
Yeah, so we're not drinking Oriental tea here. All right? So it's not chai. In Hebrew, it's chai. So in English, the problem comes in English where you have the C and the K. And they make the same sound as in cake. Right? And that's what causes the confusion here. Okay? Or you have words like cheer. So it's ch. So we have a church, cheer, those kinds of letters. But when you're doing a transliteration of Hebrew, there is no ch sound. Okay? There's a sh sound. But in order to come up with some kind of a sh sound, you would have to combine several letters together. Okay? So that's why I tell you, if you're doing a transliteration, you may read a transliteration that has it spelled C. I'm going to spell it with a K just to stop the confusion. That it's not chai, it would be chai. L'chai. Everybody say chai.
Chai.
and chai means life. Okay? So chai, how you doing? Okay, who's got the next one? Keep your hands up because I've got my back turned to you. I can't see you.
You're supposed to be able to see us.
Eyes in the back of my head. Okay, who's got it? 1, 2, 3. Emilio looks like half his brain is working tonight. Okay? So what do you have, Emilio? Very good. Do it again. What's this?
Resh.
Resh. Resh. What kind of sound does the resh with? R. So, sa'il. 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 Okay, remember the resh is from the back of the throat, not the front. It's from the back of the tongue, not the front. So, sa'il. Everybody say sa'il.
Sa'il.
That should be familiar to you. It's a Bible name. Sa'il. Okay? So, everybody say it again. Sa'il.
Sa'il.
And so give it to me.
Sa'il.
Sa'il.
TZ.
Okay, so this is a TZ sound. So it's not zayil, it's sa.
Sa'il.
You start with the teeth, against your teeth. Sa'il.
Sa'il.
Okay?
A.
Ayin is silent, so it takes the vowel.
One it connects to D. And then Resh.
Okay, so sa'il. Okay?
Sa'il.
Sa'il. Remember last week we had Yelid and Yalda? Yelid being boy, Yalda being girl. So here you have now Sayyid, the youth. Or as some people call them, the youth. Okay, who's got the next one? Josh has it. Marcy has it. Laura has it. Joey has it. Gloria has it. What do you have, Josh?
Gabo.
You're close. They're getting real close. Huh? Chaved. Chaved. Everybody say chaved. This is where we get kavod from. It comes from this word. Okay? Kavod means glory. Okay? Chaved. Chaved, give it to me.
Kaf. A. Veit.
It's a nice A. Veit. B, no dagesh.
E. D.
Okay. Chaved. In Chaved, the reason why glory, Chavod, comes from Chaved is because this means heavy. And all of that is rooted in your liver. Chevet. Okay? The chevet, your liver. The word glory, to give God glory. To glorify Him. Glory to God in the highest. The reason why this word chavet, comes from chevet, your liver, is because your liver is the heaviest organ in your body. Okay? So meaning what? So when we're saying to give glory, we're saying to give weight to. Yes. Yeshua talks about the weightier matters of the law, of Torah. Okay, so you give weight to. So when we talk about to glorify God, what does that mean to you? What has it meant to you? When we talk about glorifying God, what has that meant to you?
Not to give him credit for the things that only he can do.
Okay.
He's done.
What else? Oh, you all look like you've never heard this before. Come on, when people tell you glorify God, what comes to your mind?
Worshiping.
Worshiping, honor, singing, right?
Singing, believer.
All right. So we're coming into the time of the birth of Yeshua. So we're going to be reading the nativity story on Shabbat, and it's going to say that all the angels said, "Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill to men." Right? And so, what do we think about at that time? That they hark the herald angels.
Singing.
Okay, those kinds of things. Okay, but more correctly, it's not about praise is praise. Hallel, praise is hallel in Hebrew. Praise, as in hallelujah, praise to Adonai. Okay, praise is praise. When we're talking about glory, to glorify, to give glory to, we're talking about this, to give weight to. In other words, importance. To make Him important in your life. So if I were to ask how many of us here believe that God is important to me?
Yeah.
And you ask most people, and most people would tell you what?
No.
Well, most people would probably tell you yes. Yeah, God's important to me. How do you know whether or not God's important to you? And how important He is?
How much you praise Him? Obedient? How do they live their life?
What?
How do they live their life?
The way they live their life, obedience. So, going back to the odd couple. Charity is very important to Richard. Richard's very important to Charity. So, how do you know that Charity is very important to Richard? Huh?
The way he looks at her?
The way he looks at her? What else?
The way he talks.
The way he talks to her? What else?
The way he takes care of.
The way he takes care of her, the way he treats her, the way he respects her, the way he honors her, the way that they're inseparable. Right? All of these tell you what? He has given weight to her. No, not weight, but he's given...
No, she gave it to me.
She has given importance. He has given importance to her. He considers her to be important in his life. This is how you tell whether or not God is important to you. The way you determine how important God is to you is how much time do you spend with Him? How do you treat Him? How do you talk to Him? How do you look at Him? Do you have proper respect and proper honor? Do you live a life where you don't ever want to be separated from Him. And by that I mean, you don't ever want to be separated. Wherever you go, you want Him there with you. This is what the word glory truly signifies in Hebrew. That it is a weighty thing. That it is a heavy thing. It's more than just singing and clapping our hands and having a good time. Because in a few days, Richard and Charity are going to be saying some things to each other. And some of these things have to do with whether someone is healthy or not healthy. Whether everything's going smooth and nice or some things are going rough. Right? In good times and in bad times. Till what?
Death do us part.
We all heard that.
She's like, did I say that out loud? I'm going to have to check up on you two the day after anyway, but it's that kind of intensity is to be your relationship with God. You're to have that kind of intense relationship of two lovers and how they feel about each other and how they are with each other, how they act with each other, how they talk to each other. So a person goes for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 30, 40 days without talking to him. How important do you suppose is this relationship? Saying, well, I know he doesn't want me to do this, but it's okay. He's loving and he's good and he's gracious and he's forgiving, so I can go ahead and do it anyway. What kind of relationship is this? So,
One-sided.
very one-sided. And that's not to be. Okay? So that's why this word is important. Chaveh, to be heavy. Chavot, glory. Okay? Also the liver. The liver does a lot of things. It has a lot of functions in the body. One of the functions is to remove all the impurities, all the poisons out of your body, out of your system. So when you eat, when you drink alcohol, the liver goes into, as soon as you take a sip of alcohol, the liver immediately goes into action to begin to remove the alcohol from your system, to put it into a form where it can remove it, dispose of it, turn it into fat, tissue, whatever, and make it so that it's not poisonous to you.
It also regenerates.
It regenerates. But any drugs, anything like that, anything in your food that is not good for you, your liver tries to deal with that. Okay? It also holds its own store of sugar. So if you haven't eaten, your liver produces its own sugar to keep your body going. Okay? So it also creates bile. What does bile do? Digest your food. Send bile into your stomach to digest your food. Okay? So it's doing all of this. It's giving you nutrients that you need. It's removing the poisons that will kill you. This is what God does for us. He's removing the poison of our spiritual life and giving us the things that we need to keep us alive, not just in the flesh, but in a spiritual way as well. So, heavy. All right. We're going to be dealing with these tonight. Who's got it? 1. 2, 3. Okay. Let's go with Charity.
Nine.
You're close. You're close. Look real careful what this is.
That's where I think.
Yeah, compared to this, look at this. This is what you're saying here, and it's this. So, Gloria, what do you have?
I have M-I-Y-V.
Not a V. Okay, what did you say?
Mine.
Mine.
No, what did you say at the end?
Mine.
Oh, I said it.
Me.
Richard, you said it. Huh?
Mean.
Mean. Very good. Everybody say mean. Like, don't be mean to me. Mean. Everybody say mean.
Mean.
Okay, how is it mean? Mem. I, not an A, an I. Okay, the dot, one dot is an I. Okay, that's why I was telling you, look at this one. This is the A right here. The dash is the A. The dot is an I. Okay, connects to the U. And then this is a nun sofi. Okay,
And
yes, nun sofi. So you have mean. And mean is a preposition. It means from. Okay, now, so I don't confuse you, the next two are prefixes. That's why the dash. Okay? In other words, another word goes along with it. Okay? Whatever the other word is. So there's another word. So this is a prefix to another word. But the reason is because in Hebrew, it would all be one word. In English, it would actually be two words. But in Hebrew, it's they use it as a prefix, and it becomes one single word. Okay? So who's got this one?
M-E. M-E. What's
Yeah, you're close. M.
M-E.
And this would be actually E-I. A.
M-E-I. That's what I had, yeah.
Okay, so that would be may. And this is the prefix from or of. So the next one is also a prefix. Me. It's the I, me. It comes from mean. So what does that tell you? It's also a prefix that means from or of.
So what does the dash mean on that one? Isn't that a?
This means that it's a prefix.
Oh yeah, prefix. Okay.
So the dash means that there's other word. There's another. The rest of the word is coming. As we'll see in the next section. All right, who's got it?
Which one are you on?
Cody? Zaha. Everybody say Zaha. So give it to me.
Z-Z-A-H-A-V.
Zaha. Everybody say it again. Zaha. And this is what you all wish you had. Gold. Zaha. And the last one. Who's got it? Nora? Charity? What do you have, Nora?
O-L. O-E-L. O-L.
Ohel. Ohel. Okay.
I don't know what it means, but I do know that I've seen it on the doors. They have them on. Does your store have that on it?
On the what?
There's just a door that has on the door. There's a door that has it on it.
So give it to me.
It's Aleph.
Which?
Silent.
Silent.
And then the O.
Okay, there's no vowel here, so you're going to have to look up here. There's the dot, so that's an O.
O. K. H. E. And then the vowel is L.
Okay.
No, the A was silent, right? Because I had.
The aleph is silent. Yes.
Real.
Yes, the aleph is silent, so you go to the O. It takes the sound of the vowel. O.
Okay.
O hell. Not O hell. Josh, behave.
Busted. No.
Okay, and it means tent, which is why it was on the Siddur, because we're all what? Big happy family.
Yeah, because I know I've seen it on the Siddur, I just wasn't sure what it was.
Yes. Oh hell. 5 minutes. Tonight we're going to take up comparative usage, comparative adjectives. And it is what it sounds like. Comparative means what?
Just sounds like.
To compare. All right, so this one to that one. Okay? So just briefly, what we have gone over, we've been over the attributive adjective, which is the normal adjective, which sits next to the noun, is the descriptor of the noun, gives definition to the noun. The attributive will always follow the noun, and it must match it in gender, in number, and in definitiveness. In other words, so if you have ha, for example here, bayit, habayit, if gadol is attributive, then it must also be definite, which means it must also have the ha in front of it. If the noun is masculine, then the adjective must be masculine. If the noun is feminine, then the adjective must be feminine. It must match it in number. That is, if the noun is singular, then the adjective must also be singular. If the noun is plural, then the adjective must also be plural. Okay? So it must match in these three things, and it will always follow the noun, and there will be no other words in between. So they will always sit side by side to each other, and there will be no other word in between. So this is what we call attributive. The next one is called the predicate. The predicate is that the adjective is in the second part of the sentence, rather than the sentence is divided into two parts. The first part being the subject, the second part being the verb or the predicate. Okay? And so a predicate adjective is an adjective that is found in the predicate, in the verb side of a sentence. Okay? And it must also match in gender, and it must also match in number, but it does not have to match, it will not match in definitiveness. Okay? So the predicate adjective will never have ha on it. It will never have the definite article the on it. Then last week we talked about substantive. A substantive adjective basically is an adjective that stands alone. So if I said to Emilio, bring me the ball, and he would say, which one? And I would say, the big one. Okay? In Hebrew, the big one, Hagadol, is just one word. Okay? Hagadol. The big. Okay? But that is a statement in and of itself. Okay? So that is a substantive, that it has substance in and of itself. He knows simply by me saying the adjective, he knows which one I'm wanting. Or it has pointed out which noun such as that. So comparative. So when in English, the way you make a comparative usually is by adding ER or EST to the word. okay, as a suffix at the end of the word, at the end of the adjective. So we'll use the word grain. So how do I compare? How would I make it comparative?
Greater, greatest.
Greater or greatest. Okay? So greater or greatest. Saying what? You would put it this way in the form of a question. Who is the greater of the two? You're making a comparison. Who is the greatest of the two? Okay? Even in this form, okay, that we say who is the better of the two, there's your, or who is the what?
Best.
And there is that. So you're making a comparative. Nora said she's the best. And Joe chuckles. Anyway. Huh?
Best at what?
In the green notes.
In sneezing.
That'd be Nora.
She's the champ.
You win. Gold star.
So this is comparative. Another form of comparative would be to use this. This then that. This you have the idea of you're making a comparison of. So greater than, right? Less than. So this is telling you that you have a comparative going on. Okay? So we have a Hebrew sentence on the board. So first you have to figure out the sentence. So those of y'all over there, can you read it?
Yes.
Okay. Figure it out. Sherry's got the whole sentence down and she's got it, all the terms defined and she has perfect grammar.
No, it's not spelled correctly into that.
What do you have, Josh?
English or Hebrew?
Hebrew. See, what is it written in? I don't know. Huh? Say it again. Good. 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 All right. So habe gadol mean ha-ochel. Habe gadol mean ha-ohel. Everybody say it. Habe mean ha-ohel. Now you've just spoken a whole sentence, a comparative sentence. Okay? So you don't tell me you can't read Hebrew. Okay? Basically, at this point with you,
It doesn't count until you can understand.
that's not necessarily true. At this point with you, okay, you should be able to read things like this. Even if you don't know what it means, you should be able to sound it out. Okay? And the way you get there, guess how you get there?
By practice.
Practice. You got to practice. Okay? If you don't practice, you're going to be back in the beginner's class by next year. If we stop doing this and you didn't practice, you'd be back in the beginner's class. Okay? So give it to me. Habet.
Hey, a, bait, beat, a, yod, I.
Notice that the yod has a vowel under it, saying what? This isn't connected. It's here. There's no connection here. It's here.
Tav, T.
Okay?
Gimel, G, A, David, D.
No vowel, so
And then Lamed.
on.
Then
Them.
I,
Nun to feet.
hey,
Hey.
hey, all the little sound, I O,
Hey.
hey,
H. E.
E,
Lamed.
And this word you had tonight, this word you had tonight in your vocabulary. Okay? So, transliterated.
the house, large, from the tent.
Good. That's not that's translated. The house,
The large house from the tent.
large. What?
Large house.
From the tent.
So let me show you something here. What kind of adjective do you have?
Comparative.
Oh,
Sorry, no. Jerk.
What kind of adjective do you have? No.
No?
It cannot be. It cannot be attributive.
Oh, because they're not both has.
Very
Or
good.
because they're not both definitive.
So what is it?
Predicate.
Predicate. This is a predicate adjective. So basically, it's not the house large. It's the house. In English, you would say the house is large. The is understood. In Hebrew, there's no is. So if you're going to translate it into English, it's understood. The house is large. Okay? So everybody got that. Chabet. Let me put it down here. So Habet Gadol Min Ha Ohel. So Habet Gadol Min Ha Ohel. Habet Gadol Min Ha Ohel. Which, this is the technical translation, the house large from the tent. But because the word large, gadol, does not have the definite article, the definite article is here, but it is not here. If it's attributive, it must agree in number, in gender, and in definitiveness. So this word H-A, this right here, the ha, that's definite article, definite article. So that's this right here, and this right here. Okay? But since the word gadol does not have a definite article, that tells you that it is a predicate adjective, which tells you this is a sentence. It's not the adjective is still describing the noun, but the adjective is being found in the verb. And in fact, there is no verb. The verb is understood in English. There is no verb form in Hebrew. Okay? Everybody with me? Questions? Questions? What does that mean? Okay, so you're saying you're making a comparison here. So the house is large from the tent. Now, that sounds awkward to you. In Hebrew, it won't sound awkward. It sounds awkward to you, but for mean, you would do this. For mean, you would do this.
Large.
Is larger.
Can you see it? The house is large right here, then you're making a comparative. The house is larger than the tent. So our focus, where we're focusing on here, is the word mean. It's this word. When it's found in this sentence, it's not from. We would not translate it from. We would translate it than. which means you would have to make the adjective either an or an est. You're making a comparison. But you wouldn't say the house is largest than the tent. So you would say the house is larger than the tent. Okay, so the whole purpose of this study tonight is this word mean right here. Mean is the key to the comparative. The mean there tells you whether that you're going to use this here and then followed by this. Okay? Now, in a sense, it does make sense that the house is larger from the tent. Okay? And there are some languages where that would actually kind of make sense, that the house is larger from the tent. In other words, saying what? You move from the tent to the house. Right? Tent is too small. You're in the house. From. Of. Than. Okay? ¿Cómo dice en español? La casa es
Más grande.
más grande
Que
que. Que.
la casa.
Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, so you have the word que here. But if you translate that to English, if you translate it directly to English, it sounds funny to an English-speaking person because que to us says what?
What?
It's that kind of a thing that's working. Okay? So these are some of the issues when you're translating from one language to another to get it correctly. This is some of the issue of translating the Torah, translating the Bible from Hebrew into English. That you come across things like this. And so it raises some difficulty sometimes. Because you have to understand that there's a lot of words that are not said, are not spoken, that are understood. And this, for example, is, as we've talked about before, in the Tanakh, in what is called the Old Testament, the word is almost always in italics because it does not exist in the Hebrew language. So they put it in italics to tell you that that word is not there in the original language. But the same would be true with the ers, the comparatives, er and est. They're not there in the Hebrew language. Okay? Than is actually from. So you're kind of having to fill in blanks here that don't appear in the Hebrew. If you said it in Hebrew, it comes across to them to a Hebrew speaker very clear, very plain. They know what you're saying. You say Habit Gadol min ha ocher, and they know that you're saying that the house is bigger than the tent. Okay? So that is the idea. That's what's going on with comparatives. Okay, we're going to stop there for the grammar section tonight. Next week we're going to take up what are called demonstrative. And what do you think they do?
Demonstrate.
Very good. All right.